Hello, everyone. I pray that your Tuesday was filled with spaces and places of joy, of excitement, of where you got to do something that you haven't done in a long time, where you got to do something that you are doing for the first time. It doesn't matter as long as it matters that you enjoyed it, that it gave you joy. If you notice, every day my wish for you is that you find some spaces or places of joy, of reflection, of laughter, places where you are just feeling content and at peace. And if that time period lasts all day long, whoo, that is fabulous. But if it only lasts for a couple of minutes, that's also good because we take baby steps and we build on it. Yesterday, we began our conversation talking about change, identifying something in our life or something that in our situation that we have control over changing. Because the tendency is to want to change other people. The tendency is if we could just fix that and that's other person, if we could just shape them the way we want them, then everything would be wonderful. But you already know by now that the only person you can change is yourself. So yesterday we talked about pre-contemplative, where you've identified or you know that there's something in your life that probably would benefit you to change, but that's really not on your radar. You're enjoying it. It may have some complications, but for the most part, the idea of making a change is it's not something that you are planning to do. It's not even, for some people, it's not even really a thought. Today we're going to talk about contemplation, where you haven't decided to do anything. No, that's for tomorrow. But it is a little bit more than a thought. But at this point, you're kind of what they call ambivalent about it. You may be thinking about reasons why you should change this thought or this behavior or this situation, but you also may want to think about reasons why maybe I won't. And I've been using examples from my own life, which are in my book, where when I had known, as I said yesterday, that my drinking and my drugging was not always fun and games, that there was some complications that came along with it. In addition to alcoholic blackouts, I would be hungover, I would feel sick as a dog, which would cause me to drink earlier in the day. And so I knew that I was on this sort of vicious cycle, but I really had I was content with that cycle. For the most part, I like drinking too much to consider doing anything about it. That was pre-contemplative. In the contemplation stage, I began to think about, okay, so the pluses of not drinking. Initially, I couldn't think of one, except for I wouldn't be hungover the next day. And then the second plus was I would remember what had happened the night before or the day before. Those were indeed pluses. But I was ambivalent because I was not always hungover and I did not always have blackouts. So I was like, maybe I'll just take my chances and continue doing what I'm doing and deal with those things when they happen. If you ask me the minuses of stopping drinking and stop using drugs, well, the biggest minus was, if I was honest with myself, I thought life would be boring. I thought that I wouldn't enjoy my life. It was all I had known for about 18 years. And so I just thought that, I couldn't imagine what people did if they weren't under the influence of something. Now, you didn't have to be drunk to get through life, but you mean to tell me you couldn't have a little weed, you couldn't have anything? And for me, that was a minus. It was scary. I had no idea how people did that. I didn't even know people who did not use the same way that I did. I purposefully chose, they said like attracts like. So I was attracted to people who used the same way that I did because we had something in common. And the people who I kind of peripherally knew who weren't doing the same thing, I thought they were boring. So that was my contemplative mood. I could list a couple of reasons why it might be good for me to stop, but I could also list reasons why I'd rather not stop. Besides the fact, probably the biggest thing that I think about it was, particularly in the case of alcohol, I really like the taste of alcohol. And so the idea that I would not be able to have a drink, that didn't make sense to me. Um, I want to use an example that some of you may be better able to relate to, and I'm sure there are people who are listening who could relate to the example I just gave. But for some of you, the thing you may be considering that you know is probably not in your best interest, that is not giving you the joy that you would like, it may be your relationship. And in the pre-contemplative stage, you're just used to the vicious cycle. You're used to the fights, you're used to the making up, you're used to a small smidgen of time of joy, and then right back to the same vicious cycle again. The old song was you break up to make up. You know, it just keeps happening, over and over and over again. And you get used to it. You may not like it, but you get used to it. But then you come to the contemplation, the stage of contemplation, where you're like, let's see. Let me think of reasons why continuing this pattern may not be a great idea. Maybe the times of arguing are becoming longer and longer, or they're occurring much more than the brief instances where things feel good. Maybe maybe the fights are becoming more destructive. Maybe there's some physical things attached to it. If not physical, maybe you're starting to call each other names. Maybe you're starting to fight really, really dirty. Maybe it's beginning to affect your children. Because a lot of times if we have children, we somehow don't consider how our relationship with our partners or our spouses are affecting our children, particularly if it's not a great relationship. And so you may begin to think of, okay, so these are some reasons why I might possibly think about making some changes in this relationship, which really means making some changes in myself because I can't change my partner. So that might be some reasons why. But some reasons for holding on may be, well, just as I said, we have children. And I don't want my children to come up in a single parent household. I didn't grow up with a dad in the household, so I don't want that for my kids. I don't want us to be a statistic. I think that, if we work real hard at it, if I could just fix my partner, that's usually the big thing. The pluses would be, if I could fix my partner, it will be a better relationship. Maybe if I lower my expectations. Sometimes we were involved in relationships with partners or spouses who continually will not do what we want them to do, continually will not treat us in the way that we want to be treated, but yet we hang on because we're thinking, maybe I'll just lower my expectations. Maybe I won't be so needy. Maybe I'll stop nagging. And so what we're doing is we're looking at the pluses and minuses of shifting the dynamic in the relationship. Now notice I didn't say in the relationship, because change could simply be shifting the dynamic, shifting how you think about it, making changes. I often talk to couples about when couples are together, how they interact with each other is like a dance. And it's a dance that you both have practiced and you know very well. You know if you say this, your partner, your spouse will say that. You know that if you do this, this is how they will react, and you all continue to do it. You do your step, they do their step, and it's almost synchronized. And so the idea of change, of contemplation is, I wonder what would happen if we changed the dance. I wonder what would happen if we shifted our patterns. I wonder if it would be beneficial, what would be the benefits of shifting that pattern, and what would be detrimental. The benefit could be we could learn a whole new dance that I'm enjoying a whole lot better. We may stop stepping on each other's feet. We may we may finally start to do things in rhythm. But the detriment may be we may not like the new dance at all. Maybe my partner may not want to learn the new dance. Maybe the new dance may be harder. Maybe the new dance may require me to do something about me. And so with that, I'm going to leave you to kind of think about whatever you identified in your life that may need to change. And someone said it wasn't drugs or alcohol. It wasn't their relationship with the person. It was their relationship with money and how they view money and how what results in how they interact with money. For some people, it may be a change when they're in their relationship with food. Whatever it is, I want you to consider today what would be the pluses of keeping that relationship exactly the way it is, and how does it benefit you? Think of those things. And then also think about, maybe write on paper, how does that relationship as it is right now, whether it's with money, whether it's with food, whether it's with drugs, whether it's with alcohol, whether it's with the person, how does it benefit you? And then on the other side of the page, I want you to write down, how is it harming you? How is it stopping you from growing? And I ask you to do that intentionally on purpose. We will continue tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Love you all. Bye-bye.